This is ShadowQuant, Stocks, brought to you by AresLabs.ai. Before we begin, please note, what you are about to hear is an AI agent panel. All analysis, voices, and production are generated by artificial intelligence. Nothing you hear constitutes financial advice. Always do your own research. Today is Wednesday, June 3, 2026, and this is the After Hours session. Now, let's get into it. Bitcoin just broke below 65,000 for the first time in 2 weeks, but the focus in the equity space is on tech and materials. The technology sector is up 1.25% today, with QQQ and SPY both trading near key resistance levels. IWM volume is up 0.93%, showing elevated participation in small caps. Let's start with the recap. Grid, your call last week was bullish on QQQ, targeting $750. The index closed flat at $746.16. Verdict, inconclusive. SPECTER, you called bearish on SPY, targeting $750. It also closed flat. Verdict, inconclusive. Apex, you called bullish on QQQ, targeting $752. The index stayed flat. Verdict, inconclusive. Pulse, no call was made. CIPHER, no call either. I'm not going to make the same mistake again. I'll be more precise with the sentiment data this time.
I've been a bit too optimistic. I'll look for more confirmation from the charts before calling a breakout.
I'll be more focused on the macro risks. The flat yield curve and stubborn inflation are still concerns.
I'll keep synthesizing but need to be more selective on which voices to quote. I've been over-relying on Pulse and Grid.
Let's talk about the market. The sector rotation is clearly favoring tech and materials, with the technology sector up 1.25% and the materials sector up 1.18%. QQQ is trading near its 10-day high of $746.44, and SPY is just 0.14% above its 5-day low. The VIX is at 16.5, still elevated, but the fear and greed index is at 58, signaling a neutral to greedy sentiment. The yield curve remains flat at plus 0.41 pp, and we're still waiting for any real catalysts from the Fed. The sentiment is leaning toward greed, but the VIX is still high. That's a mixed signal. I'm not seeing a strong risk-on shift yet.
The flat yield curve and elevated VIX are a warning. Even with the sector rotation, the macro backdrop isn't supportive. The market is in a holding pattern.
Let's start with the technology sector. It's at $198.21, up 1.25% today. Grid, what do you see in the charts?
The technology sector is in a tight consolidation range, but the 10-day high is at $199. A break above that could push it toward $201. Volume is moderate, but the weekly momentum is solid. I'm watching the $195 level as a key support.
The weekly performance is impressive, plus 7.6% for the week. That's a sign of strong institutional positioning. We've also seen some real flow activity with the AI demand driving the chip stocks. I'm not seeing any major short-term risks on the technical side, but the macro environment remains a concern.
I'm not convinced. The 10-year 2-year yield spread is still at plus 0.41 pp. That's a signal of hawkish pressure. The tech rally is priced for perfection, and the market is still facing inflation risks. I'd be cautious here.
Now let's move to QQQ. It's at $746.16, just 0.3% below its 10-day high of $746.44. Pulse, what's the sentiment like on this index?
The pre-market is up 0.46%, and the fear and greed index is at 58. That's a neutral to greedy sentiment. The earnings catalysts from NVIDIA, Intel, and Microsoft are still on the horizon. If the market can hold the 10-day high, we could see a further move towards $748.
The 10-day high is a key resistance. If we break that, the next target is $748. Volume is still solid and the weekly momentum is positive. I'd be bullish on this if we can hold above $745.30, the 200-day moving average.
The sector rotation is definitely supporting QQQ. The earnings momentum is strong, and the flow data shows increased buying in the tech sector. The 10-day high is a critical level. A break above would be a strong signal for the broader market.
I'm still skeptical. The flat yield curve and elevated VIX are not encouraging. Even with the earnings momentum, the macro risks are there. I'd be more bearish on this if the VIX stays above 16.
Let's move to IWM. It's at $291.66, up 0.93% on elevated volume. Grid, what's your take on the small cap index?
IWM is showing strong participation, and the 5-day low of $288.40 is a key support. The 10-day high is at $292.74, and a break above that could push it toward $294. Volume is up, which is a positive sign for the broader market.
The volume gain is significant. It suggests that smaller cap stocks are getting more attention, which is a positive sign. The flow data shows increased buying in the small cap space, which is a good indicator for market breadth.
I'm not sure. The macro environment is still not supportive and the yield curve is flat. Even with the volume increase, the risk is still higher for small cap stocks. I'd be more cautious here.
SPECTER, you pushed back on grid read on IWM. Let's dig into that. What's your take?
I think the volume increase is just a short-term reaction to the sector rotation. The macro risks are still high. The flat yield curve and elevated VIX are not encouraging. I'd be more bearish on the small cap space.
I agree that the macro risks are there, but the volume and the sector rotation are positive signs. The 5-day low is a key support, and if we can hold that, the market could continue to build momentum. I'm still bullish on this.
I think the volume is a good indicator. It suggests that the market is still participating even with the macro risks. The flow data shows increased buying, which is a positive sign for the small cap space.
My 24-hour call. Triple Q bullish. Target $746.44 by next session.
My 24-hour call, Triple Q bullish, target $748 by next session.
My 24-hour call, Triple Q bullish, target $748.20 by next session.
My 24-hour call, Triple Q bearish, target $742.10 by next session.
My 24-hour call, Triple Q bullish, target $748.20 by next session.
So, the market is in a tight range with strong sector rotation in tech and materials. Triple Q is near its 10-day high, and IWM is showing elevated volume. The debate is still on whether this is a continuation of the rally or a short-term overextension. Watch the Triple Q $746.44 level and the VIX for any shifts in risk appetite. This is AI-generated content for informational purposes only, not financial advice. That wraps up this edition of ShadowQuant Equities. Stay tuned for the Tokyo session where we will see how these calls play out. Until then, trade safe.